Mahomes not only counts on, but another explosive play type of guy. Because when we all know, Max, to your point, the consensus is you always got to have an offensive line. Like, we learned that. The most important unit on a football team is the offensive line because the quarterback got to be protected, and the quarterback is the most important player in particular as an individual. But when I look at this offense and I look at explosiveness, and you think about how, because this is one thing Patrick Mahomes doesn't get credit for, and we always talk about the no-look throws, and we talk about Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes loves to spread the football around.
Yeah, don't let McCole become like take a step. If he takes a step forward in development, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Max, think about it. Think about if McCole Hardman becomes Emmanuel Sanders when Emmanuel Sanders started rolling.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Like, they unguardable as much as they've been unguardable already. So I look at him, and I know a lot of people have different opinions, but when you look at now that this offensive line is intact, focusing on these skill position players and thinking about what they lost at the wide receiver. Because, look, Sammy Watkins wasn't great, but he was reliable. He was dependable. He was another guy that Patrick Mahomes had full confidence in that if I need to get him the ball, he's going to deliver for me.
They got a running
back and was huge in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, listen, Mecole Hardman steps up and becomes that guy at the number 2. It's over.
It's over.
I bet you they're loving right now because doesn't it feel like the Chiefs are flying under the radar a little bit, as ridiculous as that sounds, with all the Bucks running it back and all their rings and this Aaron Rodgers stuff, and the Chiefs just, no look passing people. All right, we'll leave it there. More football coming up just around the bend. Which NFC West powerhouse has the best chance to win the division? Some ridiculous quarterbacks. Which is the best? Plus, just hours away from the NBA draft, everyone, how will things shake?
Focused on how do you improve? And then you put it all together on a game day, and it's me versus you, and we'll see who worked harder.
DeAndre Hopkins caught it! I can't believe it! Aaron Donald rips it to the turn. Come on! The chase is on. DK Metcalf catches it.
Somebody had a cathartic experience yesterday, gentlemen, and his name is Aaron Rodgers, and we are here for just a release. Let it all out. Hi, Marcus Spears. Hi, Max Kellerman. I'm Molly Karen Rose. Unreal, right?
He put it on him.
I mean, unbelievable. Okay, so here's what we're talking about in case you didn't see it. Outside of a retirement presser, I cannot remember a time when a Hall of Fame caliber athlete has had a more real, candid, raw, and thoughtful press conference. Aaron Rodgers did that yesterday. It was 30 minutes discussing in detail all the factors that led to his strife with the Green Bay Packers, some of which didn't even involve him. Take a listen.
I wanted to help the organization maybe learn from them some of the mistakes in the past, in my opinion, about the way that some of the outgoing veterans were treated, and just the fact that we didn't retain a number of players that I felt like were core players to our foundation, our locker room, high character guys. I'm talking about Charles Woodson, Jordy Nelson, Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, James Jones, John Kuhn, Brett Good, TJ Lang, Brian Balaga, Casey Hayward, Micah Hyde, guys who were, exceptional players for us, but great locker room guys, high character guys. Many of them who weren't offered a contract at all, or were extremely lowballed, or were, maybe in my opinion, not given the respect on the way out that guys of their status and stature and high character deserved. And I think we can all understand, Green Bay isn't, a huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me, to play with our team, and knowing that they can win a championship here. The rules, are the same for most people, but every now and then there's some outliers. Guys who've been in an organization for 17 years and won a few MVPs, where they can be in conversations at a different higher level. I'm not asking for anything that other great quarterbacks across the last few decades have not gotten, the opportunity to just be in conversation. So if you're gonna cut a guy who, based on a meritocracy, was our second best receiver in training camp last year for the majority of camp, maybe run it by me. see what I feel. I might be able to change your mind. But at least to be in a conversation makes you feel like you're important, you're respected. And that's what I tried to convey in February and for the first couple months. But no, it hasn't been that. That's just the way they do it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but objectively, there's been a lot of success here over the last 30 years. I just wanted to be a little bit more involved, and I understand that that's not the way it went.
You know what we're going to do, Max? We're going to take all that luggage that everyone's been carrying around, all the suitcases, and we are going to unpack it piece by piece. Let's go. First reactions from you.
First of all, that's the type of speech you give when you quit a job you think you're never going back to. Like, take this job and shove it. Like, type speech. Oh, my God, he put him on blast. Let me tell you something. What that was a takeover. Not just a takeover, but the takeover. See, everyone gets this most famous rap battle wrong. Jay-Z and Nas, Marcus. Everyone talks about you got ethered. And I get why, because it's Nas and he's great and all that. But Ether was just throwing everything against the wall and let's see what sticks, right? Jay-Z in the takeover was surgical precision. And whether or not it was the truth, it sounded like the truth. He didn't say all that much. He had about 4 or 5 points, and each one sounded true, right? So you're like, oh, that was what Aaron Rodgers just did to the Packers. That was a takeover. He killed them with what certainly sounded like the truth. And especially when you hear Brian Gutekunst, who went first, right? He talks to the press first, and he thinks, this will be business as usual, right? So he's just like, come on, B, that's not even what
sad little press conference.
That's not even what it is. And then Rodgers came out and flamed them. Rodgers, I've been saying this all along. He's the boss in the sense that it's his mind you have to change. I said the Packers won this deal, Marcus, because in the end they bought themselves one more year to win a Super Bowl with an invested Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be invested in his teammates and winning a Super Bowl, and bought themselves 12 months to change his mind. But it has nothing to do with the decision they make. It is 100% the decision Aaron Rodgers makes, because that, my friends, was the takeover.
I like it. You bring it in that old rap history that you got, Max Kale. Listen, man, when I saw that interview, the first thing came to my mind, Max, to your point when he flamed him, is he still don't want to be there. This is one of the concessions that was made by the Green Bay Packers, to your point, to save face and potentially save a year. I think it's over. I thought it was over before I was wrong. He returned, came back to camp. But when you look at that press conference, man, that's like walking in your house and telling your wife, I'm here until the kids go to college. And then I'm riding out. Because when you look an organization squarely in the face with their emblem on the podium and tell them how bad they are at decision making, that is not the way you rectify a situation or work towards rectifying a situation. The second thing is this, though, Max, because I got to play devil's advocate. And look, as a player, man, I respect so much about what Aaron Rodgers said about how they let former players go out and it wasn't the right way and they should have consulted and all of those things. But Max, put Max on the camera.
I'm right here. I figured I know where you're going with this.
You know what, Max? He signed that damn contract when it came up, didn't it? He took the money when it came to him. He took the money. Now I got love for what he said, bro. That's respectable. That's commendable. Looking out for the guys that he felt were wrong, either on their way out or at the end of their careers. But when that big money came up for Aaron Rodgers, he didn't bring all that up when he was signing his deal. Now he's there in the
Marcus, I think he's talking about give him a chance to come back at a reduced rate. Let's figure this out. Like the way he's really talking about Gutekunst and Murphy's people skills. He's not just talking about the Packers brand or his teammates or the fans. He's talking about there are a couple of dudes, I don't like their bedside manner. I don't like the way they treat people, and I'm a person.
You're absolutely right. And you know that's what this has been about. It's been about the interaction between people outside of the business part. But all of this transpired before he signed this deal. All of these dudes that he talked about, that were treated wrong on their way out. Coincidentally, what he's fighting about right now is how he's being treated on the way out. He knew all of that transpired before he signed for all that money with the Green Bay Packers. This is how they do things. And let me ask you this, because look, Aaron Rodgers has been wronged. If his input and the things that he thought would make this team better wasn't taken into account based on what he's done with the Green Bay Packers, he's absolutely right. But there's always another side to these particular situations.